Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of this F1 24 driver career mode with myself driving for Sauber in our first season as an F1 driver. If you did miss the last episode around Imola, it was a pretty good race for ourselves. We managed to make up a couple of positions. In the end, it was Lando Norris who claimed his second career victory in Formula 1, just ahead of Max Verstappen in P2 and Oscar Piastri in P3, making yet another double McLaren podium this season. Our teammate finished P15 in the end, and for ourselves, we came home in a very good finishing position. We were chasing down those Ferraris, but in the end, fell just short of being able to catch those Ferraris. In the end, still scoring some good points for the team. As we head into our next race here in Monaco, we've got a few things to go through over here. So in the durability, we're actually going to have a look here at a turbo reliability testing upgrade. So this one should actually improve our durability quite a bit. It's going to come in before Spain, so we're not going to quite get it before the next round, but it should come in before Spain if all goes well. And remembering, at the moment, we haven't unlocked being able to rush any developments at the moment. Heading into our specialist, the manufacturing expert, we're going to go with 4 laps with 2 different engine components. The wind tunnel engineer completed a lap using qualifying. Material power unit consultant, 19th or better in qualifying. Material fabrication plan at tyres above 30%, so we really got to try and make those wear as much as possible during practice to see if we can't get that one completed. It's a long race as well, so we could get it during the race. You never know. And the upgrades are coming on to the car before this race. We've actually got a front wing flap upgrade that's going to be on the car, so hopefully we can get a bit of the better turning during this Grand Prix around the tight, twisty circuit of Monaco. As we take a look here at the R&D as well, McLaren are the fastest car, just ahead of Red Bull. It's a very minuscule, but the McLaren is the better car. Ferrari, Aston Martin, and Mercedes are all very much on the same performance. Those cars are extremely close. There is a bit of a performance gap though before you get to RB, and they have very slightly started getting caught by the Alpine, Williams, Sauber, and our Haas as well. We've all closed the gap to RB, but it is now Haas that is the slowest car in the field. So currently ourselves being Sauber and Haas, we've constantly been switching between which is going to be the slowest car. So hopefully we can start maybe getting that car a bit more towards where the Williams and the Alpine could be as we now get ourselves into qualifying for the Monaco Grand Prix. And here we are now for the most important qualifying of this season. As we come to the finish line, we will cross the line, and it's going to be an alright lap. It's going to set us about P9 there, a 10th away from Lando Norris in the McLaren. So Lando Norris actually down on P7. That's a bit further down than I was expecting for the McLaren, but I am sure they will improve their times going through this session. And now we're going to go out for one final flying lap here in qualifying. We've done really well, 5.5 tenths, but we turned in a bit too early, hit the wall on the outside, and we have lost all that time. We were half a second up on our lap time, and look at that, 700s better. And is that going to be good enough for Q2? It is not. P18. So around the most crucial track for qualifying, we have bottled our qualifying lap all at the final corner. So Charles Leclerc fastest in Q1 by just under a tenth of a second to George Russell. Fernando Alonso P3, he's a tenth back. Our teammate Valtteri, he does make it into Q2 there, sitting P14. So he's less than a second away from a provisional pole position, but knocked down Q1 is Ricciardo by only 700ths of a second. Nico Hulkenberg, myself, Esteban Ocon, and Logan Sargent. So at a very crucial point there, we lost it. That was, can't believe I did that.
Returns to Monte Carlo once again today, home to the world-famous Monte Carlo Casino that first opened in 1863. And of course, a certain road race first held in 1929. There's no greater an occasion, no more valuable a win than the Monaco Grand Prix. The astonishing Circuit de Monaco is, for all intents and purposes, virtually unchanged since its inaugural race back in 1929. The faster cars of today ensure the 19 corners past the casino and along the seafront remain as thrilling as ever. A 2.1-mile lap here takes us around an entire country, yet never more than inches from the race-ending barriers. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Perez, Hamilton, Sainz, Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Oscar Piastri, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Norris, Stroll, Bottas, Albon, Ricciardo, Hulkenberg, Lightning, Ocon, and Logan Sargent. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Alongside me in the commentary box, my old friend, Anthony Davidson. Now, you're the racing driver in this partnership, so tell us about this racing driver. Put us in their shoes. How are they going to be feeling?
Well, you've got to be prepared, Crofty. Before you even step foot inside the car, you've got to know, you've got to have a pre-race game plan. You've watched videos before you get into the car of previous races gone by. You know where you have to place your car if X, Y, or Z happens in front of you or behind you. So having this clear game plan is absolutely essential before you get in the car.
If we don't want to be stuck near the back for most of the race, you're going to need to push early on. Good luck.
And aggressive we're going to have to be for this Grand Prix, starting all the way down in P18. Having a look here at the strategy there, we're going to switch it around. We were going to start on the hards, go to the mediums, but we'll start on the mediums and then go to the hards. And it is going to be a very long hold on the lights, but it's lights out and away we go for the Monaco Grand Prix. And it is a decent start, but we just got nowhere to go as the field bunches up. And I'm just going to try and make sure that we don't get caught up in anything. So a little bit of a cut of turn 1, just to try and make sure we don't get caught up in anything at the start of this Grand Prix. And we're going to just sit tight here behind Nico Hulkenberg and our teammate Valtteri Bottas going side by side. And they continue to go side by side, really hold each other up. I'm going to try and see if we can't get anything done down into the corner. And we had to take avoiding action. They just slammed the brakes so much earlier than I was expecting. And we hit the wall. Luckily, got no damage. And now here at the casino hairpin, it's just a gridlock. Absolute gridlock. So we have to go out wide. And our teammate has now hit us. And we've now got floor damage. What an absolute horrid start. And now Albon's in the wall. He's hit the inside wall there. And after everything that's happened, the 2 McLarens, one of them's in the top 10. The other one's outside the top 10. The championship leader is currently P11. What is going on? And for ourselves now, we've sent it down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo. And we've outbroken the king of late braking to get the move done into the swimming pool section. And out of all the chaos that has just happened, Max Verstappen has got a 3.5 second lead. 3.5 seconds after the opening lap around Monaco. An absolute mega opening stint from Max Verstappen, and that could be very crucial for his race as he leads ahead of George Russell. And for ourselves, Mark, very quickly into the race, it's lap 7, is wanting us to try and get past Albon. You can see here, Albon is losing touch to the train of cars with Stroll, currently at the tail of that train. So we want to try and get past, and as we do, with Daniel Ricciardo, we're going to send it down the inside at the chicane. We'll lock the rears, but get it just stopped, and we're going to continue, just like we did with Daniel Ricciardo, side by side, and we're going to send it down the inside, a little bit of room given, a little bit of a wall tap there from Albon, and because we're on the dirty stuff, we've run so wide and had to take evasive action to make sure we didn't crash going through the swimming pool section. But now we can put our sights forward and try and chase after Stroll in that Aston Martin for P13. He's 2 and a bit seconds up the road. And after the opening 10 laps, it's going to be time for an order check here. So Max Verstappen leads by 8 seconds after only 10 laps. George Russell, then Sergio Perez rounds off the podium. Carlos Sainz, Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, the home hero in P6. Fernando Alonso, then Pierre Gasly in a PA. He's got that Alpine into an unbelievable position. And Yuki Tsunoda as well in P9. That RB inside the top 10's brilliant stuff from Yuki Tsunoda. And then look at the 2 McLarens, the championship leaders. So Oscar Piastri, P3 in the championship. He's in 10th. Lando Norris, the championship leader, P11. So horrible from McLaren so far. Kevin Magnussen, then Stroll, then ourselves. We're trying to chase him down in P14. But you can see there, we have dropped Alex Albon. Alex Albon, P15, 2.5 seconds back from ourselves. Daniel Ricciardo, our teammate Valtteri in P17. Then it's Nico Hulkenberg, Esteban Ocon. So one Alpine inside the top 10. The other one second last. And Logan Sargent last on the road, P20. As our next objective comes in. And what is Mark on about? What is Mark on about? He overtakes Tsunoda. What? I don't even see Tsunoda up on my screen. Like, where is Tsunoda? Oh, there he is. He's leading the train. He's currently P9. He wants me in 4 laps to go from P14 to P9 around the toughest circuit on the calendar for overtaking. What is Mark smoking? Like, seriously, mate. So what are we going to do instead? Oh, you know, we're just going to box. We're not doing that, Mark. No, we're not doing that. And Yuki is doing the same thing. He's boxing. He's like, nah, he's not going to be able to get that objective, so we'll box. We'll postpone it. So we're going to box now for the hard tyres and try and see what we can do on this probably longer than standard stop. I mean, it's only myself, Yuki, and I reckon that's the Williams of Alex Albon that is coming as well. So from what I can tell, only 3 cars, maybe 4 cars have pitted so far in this Grand Prix. So we'll have to try and see what we can do with a bit of clean air. Oh, the brakes are definitely cold after the pit stop there with a bit of a rear lock, so lucky to not cause any damage going through that. But you can see we've got good pace at the moment, a purple middle sector on this lap, but just what has happened every single race so far, 0 tyre pressure warnings on the tyres, so we need to get this durability sorted. The next objective has now come in. It's time for us to set a blistering lap time. We've got good pace, we have got really good pace, and we are going to absolutely annihilate that 1 minute 14.9 by pretty much 2 seconds on the dot. 2 seconds we beat that by, so absolutely brilliant stuff there from ourselves. We're really putting these hard tyres to work, so hopefully once these tyres start wearing out by doing this longer stint, we can get some good track position. And it really hasn't taken that long for us to catch up to the back of this giant train that, by the looks of it, based off the minimap, is being led by our teammate. We send it down the inside at the casino on Yuki Tsunoda, but he's going to get the better traction. I have a little bit of a wheel spin there, so we're going to have to stick behind Yuki for a little bit, and he's hit the wall, so that's ruined his exit. So are we going to be able to do anything here? Are we going to be able to possibly try and send a move down the inside? We're dumping a heap of battery, we're going to send it down the inside. We're going to force him to cut the corner. He's cut the corner and maintain the position. What is Yuki doing? Come on, mate. Give us a position. We send it down the inside. And, oh, karma. Absolute karma. He's got damage. He's lost his end plate there. So, Yuki is going to be pretty much now around this circuit, just a moving chicane for all the other guys. And that's just karma. You don't cut the corner and expect to keep the position, mate. And we'll put that behind ourselves, and we're going to focus on here. And we've just jumped Norris. We've just jumped Lando Norris. We're ahead of a McLaren in the Monaco Grand Prix. And fast forward to the next lap, we've jumped Piastri as well. We're ahead of both the McLarens. We're into P9. We've pulled off an absolute wild undercut. And we're going to do an order check here just to see where things have shaped out after the pit stop. So Max Verstappen now leads by 12 seconds. 12.5 seconds he leads by ahead of Carlos Sainz and George Russell. So Sainz has found himself up onto the podium now. He's jumped both Perez and Russell. Lewis Hamilton now sits P5. Perez is off the podium. Leclerc is P6. Gasly is still inside the top 10. He's sitting in P7. He's actually jumped Fernando Alonso. Myself, I'm in P9. So I've found myself from about P15 to P9 through the pit stop sequence. So undercuts worked beautifully for ourselves. Yuki Tsunoda, he's still holding on to P10 with that damaged car. But look at the train he's got behind him. He's now got Stroll, Piastri, Norris, Albon, Ricciardo, and Kevin Magnussen all stuck in this train behind him. The 2 McLarens, both outside the points. Championship leaders, outside the point. McLaren, lead the constructors, outside the points. Lando Norris leads the Drivers' Championship, outside the points. Then it's Logan Sargent, Valtteri Bottas, our teammate. So he's lost out in all of this. He's now P18. Esteban Ocon still sits second last in P19. And Nico Hulkenberg's now last on the road. So Logan Sargent has actually made up a few positions here in this pit stop sequence, which is going to be good for his resume. And we're going to do quite the time jump here. It's a lap 34 now, and our next objective is coming. We've caught up to the back of Fernando Alonso, and it's time for us to charge this ERS. We're going to charge up the ERS to try and do full attacks on Fernando Alonso, try and get this P8 off of the Spaniard. And heading to the next lap now, about to head 3 into the tunnel, we'll pass the ERS there. We've nearly got a full ERS bar there now. We're going to dump a heap to try and catch back up to Fernando because we lost a little bit of ground of putting the ERS down to none while we'll go through the start of that middle sector there, end of the first sector, trying to save up all of the ERS. But there has been no faulting Max Verstappen. He's going to claim victory in Monaco by 18 seconds. 18 seconds. Max Verstappen wins the Monaco Grand Prix by an absolute beautiful drive from Max Verstappen. Carlos Sainz is going to fend off from George Russell, and he is going to come around the final corner to claim a second place finish in Monaco, and George Russell will get on the podium as well. Sergio Perez unfortunately loses out on the podium, and for ourselves, we tried hard, we couldn't get by Fernando Alonso in the end, so we're going to have to settle for a P9 finish here in Monaco, but it's a P9 that we did not expect to get. We messed up our qualifying, we started at the back, but our strategy has brought us points here in Monaco. An absolute brilliant strategy.
We're going to be hearing that Dutch national anthem again, because it's victory for Max Verstappen. Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sports that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Well, there it is. Monaco Grand Prix done and dusted here in Season 1. It's a 59th career victory for Max Verstappen. He's really racking up the wins this season. Carlos Sainz and George Russell round out the podium, so a really diverse podium. 3 different manufacturers up on the podium here in Monaco. And no McLarens inside the top 10. Absolutely wild. For the championship, a massive swing in the championship for both the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship. As we take a look at the rest of the top 10, Sergio Perez, Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, Pierre Gasly, Fernando Alonso, myself in P9, and Yuki Tsunoda. So a couple of names there that usually won't be inside the top 10, made it inside the top 10, mainly Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda. And then myself, I counted myself out of getting points in this Grand Prix. I did not expect to get points, but that strategy just worked beautifully for ourselves in the end. And look at that. Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, P12, P13. Absolute massive for the championship. Our teammate in the end, P18. Unfortunate for him after qualifying, P14. And Nico Hülkenberg rounds out the grid there. Max Verstappen leads the Drivers' Championship by 28 points to Lando Norris. So massive swing. Oscar Piastri, P3, 67 points back. Myself, P10, 145 points back. And our teammate is still yet to score a point in this championship, but I'm hoping he can get himself on the boards there. He currently sits P19, 176 points behind Max Verstappen. McLaren just lead the Constructors after that round. They're only by 5 points now ahead of Red Bull Racing. Ferrari in P3, 114 points back, and Sauber, we're still P6, 226 points back, but we're a little bit comfortable because the team behind us is not really going to be scoring regularly points either. Getting back towards the HQ now, we're leading our rivalry with Yuki Tsunoda. We have to get ourselves to an 83 driver rating, so we're going to have to really make sure we put in good performances. And speaking of driver ratings, experience has gone up, racecraft has gone up, our awareness has gone up, pace has gone up, and our focus has actually leveled up to level 76, and our overall rating is now 82, so only one more level, and we beat that rivalry, which will be crucial if we want to try and take a seat at RB. With our first secret meeting we had a few episodes ago with RB, our recognition remains at 48% to Valtteri, but I'm sure that is going to change as we continue to absolutely dominate Valtteri in our head-to-head. And for our specialists, we actually lost a bit for our power unit consultant, and it turns out that the expected qualifying position for ourselves should have been P17. We got P18, so only just missed out in the end. I reckon that probably cost us getting it to a level 1 power unit consultant. So hopefully we can definitely get it in the next round when we head to Canada. But we're going to have to really work hard to get that as we now warp to the home base, home sweet home. And we will be greeted with a couple of good parts coming in and also a secret meeting. Another meeting with RB. I just said that we're on track to beat Yuki Tsunoda in our driver rivalry. And on cue, RB has come in with another secret meeting. So, could this be a meeting where we possibly find out who we could be replacing? Because at the moment, we are quite comfortably beating Yuki Tsunoda. So, I wonder if next year's pairing could be a Daniel Ricciardo and myself if we do decide to go for RB. But we'll have to wait and see what RB's looking like for next season. You never know, Sauber here, we could just skyrocket in the R&D, and Sauber may be the team I want to stick with. You just never know. That's why it's only a meeting at this stage. So if you did enjoy this episode, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode where we head to Canada for the Canadian Grand Prix, which is generally a pretty good track for myself. So hopefully we can score some more points, and I'll see you then. See ya.